to be on the phone.
Good morning. It's very clear I have to dump my phone. I have a lot of stuff on my phone from Liana's everything, birthday, stuff like that, summer, other projects I'm working on. But today it's been a very interesting time lately, and I keep just talking about that in general. Today is actually Wednesday, July 30th, and it's 6:16 a.m. And Liana starts kindergarten Monday, so we got some more preparation, but we got a lot of stuff done, and I'm nervous, ready, anxious, excited, all these feelings. And I work in childcare, so all the moms know, they're just like, oh my God, I remember when my child went to kindergarten, I remember this, I remember, you know. So it's just like a lot of, but I'm glad I'm in at least an emotionally accepting place to work, because not all environments are accepting of different types of life. And that's things are, business is business, personal is personal, whatever, but sometimes they collide. So I'm fortunate that with the transition that I'm going through in life with Liana, kindergarten, and we already, things are in order. We're just making subtle moves, because I try to explain to people it's just me moving my train. So if a piece breaks down, we're broken down. So please don't question my life, or why are you here, or what are you doing. And this life is a journey, and every experience, every opportunity, every missed opportunity, every illusion, everything in my life adds up to a bigger picture, bigger experience, bigger storyline, bigger whatever. Everything just builds up to a certain peak in your life. It's when you get complacent and bored and uninspired that you become like everything's just subtle, and you know, there's no excitement. I like to chase my own dreams, but I also have a lot of visions, a lot of internal insight or internal random thoughts that I quickly try to jot down, just because I'm like, I don't know why I'm even thinking that. It'll come back to me later. And usually it does. And all the time, when I'm doing something or saying something, it literally is promoted on TV. When I'm just like, okay, this is a gentle reminder to drink your protein shake. Just taking vitamins and stuff like that, working out, sleeping adequate, just different products, stuff like that. I've been on my vitamin C lately, so I've been rubbing vitamin C on me and stuff like that. So life is just very poetic at these moments of detailed moments. And I sat back and I was talking to my friend, and she was like, how do you feel? And I was like, you know, the most thing that I'm proud of in this world I have is Liana. Like, everybody's reaction to her is just so opposite of me, which I'm so happy to be her mother, because I was a whore. So I mean, sometimes I'm still a whore, but I'll take that and not give her that. Now she knows she's capable of doing it, but we control that horror part of us, like anger, you know, rage. We all have it. So for people to always want to give her stuff, they praise her, they're like, where is she? So people speak very highly of Liana. I'm proud of that. So one of the few things as the only child you have is your parents. And when you're alone as the only child, you just have your mom and your dad, you get a lot of adult perspective that you probably shouldn't have gotten, because you would have been distracted by a friend. You would have been distracted by, things to play with somebody, otherwise you heard everything. You could silence everything. You could control the environment a lot more with less variables. So you usually go out your way to talk to your parents, impress your parents, like only children are very connected to their parents because there's nobody else. So for me, I was with my mom and I didn't really make her proud. I was a whore. So for me, the biggest thing I miss right now are my parents, because I wish I could show them, like, look at my life now, look at me now, you know, like, things are not perfect by any means. There's so many things, quote unquote, what do you consider wrong? There's always room for improvement. There's always change. There's always just but you have to stay here in the real now. Face these demons, face these responsibilities, face things you don't want to face. Some things is very hard, but when I tell people, like, you're not meant to be alone in the world, but when you are, you have to move your own train. If you can't, you have to live somewhere. You have to work somewhere. So things have changed so much that when they question, like, why are you here in a child care facility, I'm like, life. Life. So when it came back to I miss my parents, I would show them, look at your granddaughter, you know, like look at your granddaughter. That's what I would say to them. This is your granddaughter, my parents. And I don't have any much to show her who her grandparents were, but we're the living side, you know, so I can only give her a version that I remember of my mom or my dad, and I talk very open and very honest and very true about them. They're dead. Like, I can't they don't exist to her, so it's just literally just an imagination that I have to build for her of, like, yeah, I had a mom and I had a dad too. like I had a dad too. And it kind of interesting. So also, this side note, I was like looking at the calendar. So, you know, I'm working on my calendar series always. August is done, and this one's kind of strange, but I love the version that I created, and it scares me on a level. I was like, oh, this can go dark, you know, but I know why. I know I'm learning my triggers. I'm learning anniversaries, dates, because I wasn't allowed to celebrate holidays. So holidays is very hard for me to adjust to, especially people's birthdays, because there's so many of them. Like, there's only one Christmas. Like, there's so many birthdays. So not celebrating my birthday didn't give value to people's birthdays. But now it's a little bit opposite. But now these other dates pop up. I have a lot of anniversary dates now that I celebrate, sometimes good, sometimes bad. So August 23rd was my mom's birthday, and I was at work, and the last holiday we had, I believe, was July 4th, and I was like, July, what's the next holiday? And then I sat back and I was like, there's no holiday in August? And everybody's like, no, there's no holiday in August. I was like, that's strange. So I looked at the next holiday. September 1st is Labor Day. I was like, oh, that's cute. The next holiday is celebrating that we just worked the whole month with no holiday. Labor Day, man. Labor is tough, but I'm having back spasms. I think I'm sitting on the floor too much with these kids. I'm getting old, and I'm trying to do stretches and yogas and take vitamins, but my body is just like, ooh. But I had this trend that I'm working on with my projects that I didn't even realize it was trend. I've been labeling my projects after the dates. After the dates. And since there's no holiday in August, my mom's birthday is August 23rd, so I'm gonna dedicate this project to her because she didn't celebrate holidays, but I do. So I still celebrate. I celebrate her birthday, and I celebrate her death date. in different ways because she was my mom. I did the same thing for my dad, but he died when I was in college, so I've been doing that a lot longer. I celebrate my dad because he's my dad. You know, like, you only get one dad, you only get one mom. At the end of the day, it don't matter. You can get multiple things. You could possibly get multiple things of other things. Multiple aunts, multiple cousins, multiple nephews. You could get multiple, but you literally only have one dad and one mom. So they're healing, talking to them about each other, personal things, whatever, and being comfortable with that should be a thing. I know it's not their relationships, and it's easier to say, oh, my parents are gone, but in all reality, they also died at a really young age. So the time, like when I was in therapy, she was just like, your parents died young, and I was like, they did? I didn't have nothing to kill you. They died. Like, I don't know. So, she was like, yeah. So now that I look around, most of my friends, their parents are still walking around living, like, active, full of energy, you know, and I'm just like, yeah, you're right, I'm an orphan. Okay, it's all good. So I try to definitely evolve and keep active in Liana's life, and just kind of explain she's on this delusional train with me. I swear, because she be telling me some stories, I'll be like, that's good right there. I like that. Keep that up. So, another thing about my mom, I don't think I've ever told this story, I guess, in this manner, that catapulted a lot of stuff that I've done, and actually was, I think, the very original push that even made me start recording. Excuse me. I remember being younger. I was probably like maybe 12, 13, I don't know, and I was dancing and singing in my living room, and the TV was on, some music was playing. I had no clue what it was, and I remember just being in my zone, being in my, like, air, like, I don't know, my aura, whatever, like, you just dancing, just dancing, and singing, and, my mom walked in, and I remember she was like, "Oh, you can't sing." Now, I didn't ever want to be a singer. I didn't ever, like, the idea of singing, the idea of having the talent to sing, I think is wonderful. But me personally, I like singing. I don't like singing for a professional, I can't perform. I'm on cue. I can't perform on cue, and performers must perform on cue. So I knew that, and I love the art of it, and I love arts in general, and I'm an artist. But when she said that, I think it killed a piece of confidence that I didn't know existed. Now, fast forward. On her deathbed, literally fast forward, on her deathbed, she was next to the nurse. I have a screenshot of it. She was next to the nurse, and the nurse was putting, like, something on her forehead, and I had Liana in my arms. I was by myself at home, and Liana was probably roughly like 4 months, I think. I really don't remember. I started singing my lullaby that my mom made for me, and I was actually singing it to Liana, and I was like, "Sweetie bye, baby bye, lullaby, good night. Off we go to the sky. Off we go, let's fly. Let's fly into the night, sweetie pie." And that wasn't the perfect melody, but that was close enough to get through what I'm trying to get to. And I was singing that song to Liana while looking at my mom on her deathbed, right? And the nurse said, she said, "What?" So she got closer to my mom, and I stopped singing. I stopped singing, and the nurse, I said, what did she say? She said, stop singing. But then she said, what? And then she was like, don't, keep singing. She was like, keep singing. She was like, just stop right now, but keep singing. That's what, and the nurse kept saying, and I was just like, what? And she was like, stop singing, keep singing. And I was just like, and I remember screenshotting like that very moment. Like literally I have a screenshot. It's not necessarily audio because I actually remember the memory of it. And I was like, that's such an odd thing to keep saying. I was like, am I that bad? Like, am I that bad at singing? And I was just like, okay, like I moved on, you know what I'm saying? Like as I said, it was a confidence that was killed a long time ago that I didn't know it existed. That piece of confidence, that seed never got to grow of the desire, because I always grew up thinking that I couldn't sing. And so I read this book. I think it was like Power of the Subconscious Mind. I think that was a book I'm thinking of. And there was this one part that really hit me hard. And it was just about this girl that when she was younger, somebody told her she couldn't sing, and she actually developed a stutter throughout her life, and she had to meditate, and it was like a spell. And I'm sure I did that in some other video like 2 years ago, and she did a spell of like getting rid of the stutter, and she said it over and over. And I think that was one of the things that kind of catapulted me to spells too, because I did stutter, and then the infection kind of like blanked my brain out. So I was doing anything and everything to piece life together to get well, but I used to stutter a lot, like stutter or freeze, or and sometimes I do. Sometimes I really go in like mannequin mode on my own, just to pause, like, is this really reality happening right now? Is this really happening? You know, because some things, like, people just be playing with people, and I don't really know, like, why. But I just stay small circle and do my thing and stay on my path. But in the meantime, I'm still living, I'm still moving forward, and I still process things differently, and I still wish I had my mom, because then I could tell her, these are the things I'm thinking. How did I get here? Why am I here? Like, why am I even thinking this? And she would talk to me, you know. But nobody knows you like your parents usually, because they're your parents. But only children have a different, I don't know, it's just only child syndrome, I guess. But I'm not looking that up, because that is not the point. The point is that I said, well, if I did the Jesus Calling, the 365 devotions with real life stories for my daughter for July, I was like, why not do it for August 23rd? So I know this is a long introduction, but stick with me here, please. It gets better, I promise. So August 23rd. Entrust your loved ones to me. Release them into my protective care. They are much safer with me than in your clinging hands. If you let a loved one become an idol in your heart, you endanger that one as well as yourself. Joseph and his father Jacob suffered terribly because Jacob loved Joseph more than any of his other sons and treated him with special favor. So Joseph's brother hated him and plotted against him. Ultimately, I used that situation for good. But both father and son had to endure years of suffering and separation from each other. I detest idolatry, even in the form of parental love. So beware of making a beloved child your idol. When you release loved ones to me, you are free to cling to my hand. As you entrust others in my care, I am free to shower blessings on them. My presence will go with them wherever they go, and I will give them the rest. This same presence stays with you as you relax and place your trust in me. Watch to see what I will do. And I was like, how does this book work like this? Because literally this is for my mom. And it's like talking to me, talking about me. Like, it doesn't. So then I was like, okay, well, what are the scriptures? Now Israel loved Joseph more than any of his other sons because he had been born to him with his old age, and he made a richly ornamented robe for him, which his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them. They hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. Genesis 37:3-4. But I was like, his son made a richly ornamented robe for him. I don't know why robes I have a thing for robes. I'm wearing a robe right now. I have a purple robe. I have gifted men robes. I don't know why I like robes so much, but I just thought that was still interesting. But it still doesn't necessarily relate to me because I'm the only child. But it goes back to me idolizing my own child too. I do idolize my own child, but I only have one. So it just works because I'm the only child. I was idolized too. I was just a terror. So then it goes on to, now to him who is able to immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us. Ephesians 3:20. Then the last one, the Lord replied, my presence will go with you, and I will give you the rest. Exodus 33:14. Now, then it had me thinking, go where? My presence will go with you. But then it went back to Joseph's brother, and I was like, okay, what? So I went to Exodus, right? Exodus 33:14. It's Exodus 33:14. So this one says, Exodus 33:14, Moses' intercession. 13. Now therefore, if I have found favor in your sight, please show me now your ways, that I know you in order to find favor in sight. Whoa, 13. Yeah. Now therefore, if I have found favor in your sight, please show me now your ways, that I may know you in order to find favor in your sight. Consider too that this nation is your people. I was like, what? You know, like, okay. So then I was like, what is Exodus? Exodus is the second book in the Bible. And I was like, what is this chapter really about? So, introduction. Exodus. Exodus tells of God fulfilling his promise to Abraham by multiplying Abraham's descendants into a great nation, delivering them from slavery in Egypt, leading them to the promised land, and then binding them to himself with a covenant of Mount Sinai. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Sinai. Moses, under the direct command of God as leader of Israel, received the 10 commandments from God, along with other laws governing Israel's life and worship. He also led the nation in the building of the tabernacle, a place where God's presence dwelled among his people and where they made sacrifices for sin. Traditionally, Jews and Christians recognize Moses as the author, writing sometime after Exodus from Egypt. So then it got me thinking, what are the 10 commandments?
The system. Am I still your customer profile? What service are you really trying to sell me? What's your point of contact? Can you dial 1-800-fuck-your-system? Cause I like mine. You rig yours so the rich stay rich, boss benefits, cool. Make a profit, that's the point, but it deprives me of consistent dedication. You're really not filling my cup enough to even repeat your name to apply to my memorization in the system. One day there is a first day, then someday it's the last day. Sometimes it's the same day. The system, it was built for who to be successful? Because when I look around, everyone looks stressful. Work so hard just to remind yourself you still neglectful. Is beating the system the same as beating the game? Do you understand, or do I need to train? And then you explain. Does your system have a gate restriction on weight? The system wasn't working. Let me invade. The dog is locked in the cage. The system looks for who's afraid. What company is built for me? 'Cause I like a maze. I like a cage. I learn the system and then I turn the page. Let me reread the script. I'm forgetting my fate. So, do y'all get celebrity crushes or average person crushes?
Look at you now, alive and alone.
Self-preservation. 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 It keeps raining. Destruction. My heart still hurts. My memory, I think, the long term is getting too short. Interruptions. How do I increase, reduce stress? Self-preservation is how I function. I can count one on all my hands and toes and feet and all my crushes. I love loving, but got real good at fucking. Munch is a derivative of munchkin. I preserve what I love, chuck the rest in the dumpster. Self-preservation, self-progression. Self-love, but self-analyzation. Rainfall, tornadoes, sandstorms, fireworks, pure destruction. When it's all over, what do you want to last forever? Would you rather be smart or clever? What do I have to chase for you to think I'm a go-getter? Forever or never, Swiss or cheddar, salt cleans and preserves meat better. I'm preserved in a love song and a love letter. Every generation love, it's gonna get better. Stiff as a board and light as feather. Stiff as a board and light as feather. Stiff as a board and light as a feather. Self-preservation. Death becomes her is my elemental character. How did my August calendar go from 153 views to 84 in less than 24 hours?
Spam! Look at the abuser still trying to abuse. Look at the trickers he still likes to use. Look at the ex-wife and the husband can't lose. Spam will always be spam. Internet and food. Look at what the mailman sends you. Look at the devil in the tie in the suit. Suspected spam, no man's land. I keep spinning in a revolving door. Now they even promote sushi with spam. Never trust the living. Self-preservation, aka being canned. I'm not a fanatic, so I guess I'm not a fan. Let me filter and block all this spam. Where is my mule and 40 acres of land? Spam, we cannot coexist in it. My fam, you recently deceased. and you don't exist. Do not visit my city. It will take your talent and redirect it. Well, a lot of your words. Let me see how your brass knuckles spit. People always say, I would, I could, I should. If they were in that position, trust, it always changes when they face the decision. With lust, wish lists, pure, honest, free, peaceful love is a must. She said, well, since he has that much money, do you think he would give you a job? I said I would hope he would invest in my dreams and create a lot of jobs. Thus, even more money and less spam.
All I knew is at some point I knew that I knew. And that's a mom's memoir stamp of approval. Say a mom's memoir? Yes. I'm putting this somewhere else. This is just now in the wedding. Did it feel like I shot you? With the blanks in my gun. Cupid doesn't lie. Only you're the one. But pillow talk can bring out a man's generosity and expectation. Say no again, and then you'll really see his true intentions. Saying my name incorrect triggers me with weird sensations. I don't belong here. What a revelation. Grim Reaper slaying with no hesitation. A mom's memoir is full of greatness, but stamped with truth and fakeness. Living through experiences greatest. I remember my mom watching me become a mom, losing a mom. I was robbed more than once. Fuck a skeleton key. There is no entrance. Everything is locked. Let the peasants take what they want. I heard a click, felt a tick, saw a trick. Then they tried to persuade me to go on another trip. I never bought the ticket. Oof. Salam. You won't be missed. I'm mother. This is my memoir, and my ass you can kiss.
What song were you singing in Georgia pre-K?
Open shuffle, open shutter, give a little clap, clap, clap. Open shut, give a little whap, whap, whap. Bon appetit, you may eat. Okay. Let's get a picture. What?
Lily said, they never pick me. Cause losers don't pick winners.
I have two extremes. You win or lose. One or two. Hot or cold, old or new. I'm going down a dark path, and I can't bring nobody with me. Shit so fucked up. I know God's grace is with me, but I be having these visions of these extremes. In honor of my mom, I do a lot of things, but also in the honor of my dad, I act a certain way. I know they don't want to hurt me, so somehow he takes my hurt. Let's drop on the same day. That's trendy. Then again, the trend location getting murked. The two extremes, heads or tails, call to cash, first to last. I got strange tunnel vision and I can't turn back, realizing sometimes how many I have to leave in the past. For the record, I called you, rejected the call. I left no voicemail, you didn't call back. The two extremes, publicly isolated and freely captured. Two extremes caught up in the rapture. Two extremes. I am, thus I can. I'm the slave to my own master.
is a practice. Discipline is a practice. I'm saying that to say that those two things which I aspire to greatness in whatever I'm attempting to do. I do aspire to that. Well, I do aspire to be disciplined, and discipline for me is doing what you have to do even when you don't want to. And those two things right there are probably the core behind how it is I show up every day. But you can train yourself to be this way. You can train yourself to show up every day because it's a practice. It becomes habit forming. You know, people, I was watching The Last Dance by Michael Jordan, about Michael Jordan and the Bulls and all this here. And so many people were critical of him. I don't like the way he acted. He was a bully. He was a tyrant. Well, you ain't never tried to be great at nothing. And see, I could relate to the whole thing because I've aspired to become really, really good at things before. And if you've ever done that, you're going to rub regular people the wrong way. And when I say regular people, I'm talking about people who have put themselves in a position in life where they're comfortable and they don't like being forced to be uncomfortable. So when you come in with all these new shenanigans and we're going to buckle down and we're going to hustle up, you're going to get pushback from people who want to remain comfortable. And you cannot grow that way. You just cannot grow staying comfortable. Everything I've ever wanted in my life was on the other side of uncomfortable. And you got to go through the uncomfortable to get there. But like I was telling you, greatness and discipline is a practice. It's very hard to find a person that's good at just one thing and he ain't trying to be good at everything else. Because it's hard to turn it off once you learn it. Once you learn the benefits of discipline, once you learn the benefits of practicing to be great, hard to turn it off. It's hard to turn it off because you know the benefits of it. And so I show up every day, but I've trained myself to be this way. And you all, if you're not that, first of all, let's take a couple of things out the way. I trained myself to be a morning person. Because there was a point early in my life when I didn't. And a guy named John Walker out of Rochester, New York, took that out of me. And I didn't know at the time that we would all be morning drive people for over 25 years. I never knew that. And thank God he took that out of me. And thank God that God put John Walker in my life and my path because God knew I was going to be on morning drive for over 25 years. So I became a morning person. When you hear a person say, I'm not a morning person, watch out, be very careful. Because morning is the goal. Ain't it your goal to wake up tomorrow morning? So why would you put that on yourself by saying I'm not a morning person? You're gonna mess around and make your wish come true one day. You ain't gonna be here one morning. Ta-da! I would never put that on me. I'm not a morning person. You know, you hear people all the time, I just don't like heat. Okay, but what about when it's hot outside? I'm appreciative of God of every single day I get. I don't care if it's raining. I fish in the rain. You know what? Because I love fishing so much, and it rains a lot of times in Georgia, I bought a rain suit so I could fish while it was raining. See, that rain, I don't like the sound of rain. It's gonna rain. It's what you mean? I don't like heat. It's finna be hot. It's called summer. I don't like it cold outside. It's winter. It's finna be cold every day in a row. Get yourself some jackets, some sweaters, some scarves, some gloves, some hats, and get out there and get on with your day. And I'm that way because I've practiced being that way. I'm so grateful for every he gives me that I don't care what the day got in it. I've even grown to be comfortable with my problems. When I get a challenge put in front of me, I know it's God trying to show me something. So I deal with it. It's like Junior asks me every day, how do you just deal with stuff you've never dealt with before? Well, I get up and I go through it. And then I put that over in the experience pile. Because now if that ever happens again, I've now done it and now I know how to get through it. So see, everything that happens to you is a benefit. Stop looking at your life as, oh, woe is me. No, man. Oh, glory is me. The fact that you made it through every rough day you've ever had in your life, don't you see that it was God bringing you through, teaching you stuff? Man, come on. Start practicing greatness. Start practicing discipline. You can train yourself to be that. It's up to you. The Bible says a man is as he thinketh. Get to thinking different, and you'll get to being different. Those are my closing remarks today. If you didn't like that one, well, try it again tomorrow. Have a great day.
What you be tra-la-la, what you be tra-la-la, 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 tra-la-la. What you be tra-la-la, tra-la-la, 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 what you be tra-la-la, tra-la-la. Hey, where's my glasses?
I keep giving them
I don't have it. What? Can't hear. What you be tra-la-la, tra-la-la.
All right. The Lady and the Tramp. All right. Merry Christmas, darling, said Jim Dear as he handed his wife a pink striped box. Inside was a little brown puppy. Darling took one look at the puppy and decided to call her Lady. Lady was happy in her new home. She slept in the same room with Jim Dear and Darling. She romped in the yard and kept watch over the house. When Lady was older, Jim Dear and Darling gave her a collar with a name tag. Lady proudly showed off her collar to her friends, Jock and Trusty. She's a full-grown lady, said Jock. Tramp was another dog who was sometimes in the neighborhood. He didn't have a warm home and family. He liked to wander the streets, looking for scraps, helping his friends escape from dog catchers. Tramp overheard Jock and Trusty telling Lady that Jim Dear and Darling were expecting a baby. What's a baby? Lady asked. A home wrecker, that's what, said Tramp. Lady's happy life was about to change. One rainy April day, a baby came. Jim Dear and Darling were thrilled with their new little boy. Lady liked the baby too. Jim Dear and Darling decided to take a trip. Aunt Sarah came to look after the baby.
Wait, I need to go to the bathroom.
Alright. Jim Dear and Darling decided to take a trip. Aunt Sarah came to look after the baby. Her two cats came too. Aunt Sarah was not a very nice lady. Her two cats were not very nice either. They made a dress and a mess out of the house and pretended that Lady caused the trouble. Oh, that wicked animal, said Aunt Sarah. Aunt Sarah took Lady straight to the pet store. I want a good, strong muzzle, Aunt Sarah said. The muzzle scared Lady. She jumped off the counter and ran out the door. She ran and ran, took some big, mean dogs, soon started to chase after her. Lady was scared. Luckily, Tramp heard all the barking and raced to Lady's rescue. Oh, poor kid, said Tramp, looking at Lady's muzzle. We've got to get this thing off. Come here. Come on. Tramp took Lady to the zoo. Maybe one of the animals could help Lady. The apes, the alligators, and the hyenas were no help at all. Then Lady and Tramp found the beaver. He loved to chew and soon bit right through the muzzle strap. It's off, Lady said with relief. The beaver was happy too. He could use the muzzle as a handy dandy log puller. Then Tramp took Lady to supper at Tony's restaurant. Tramp's friend Tony liked Lady and fed the pair his specialty spaghetti with meatballs.
Oh, I love that we had that yesterday.
Tramp and Lady accidentally ate the same spaghetti noodle. Next thing they knew, they were kissing. Lady and Tramp were falling in love. The happy pair.
Mommy,
Yes.
do you need more of that?
No, not right now. Thank you though.
You can have it.
Yeah.
When you ask for it, I need it.
Thank you, darling. The happy pair walked to the top of the hill. They gazed up at the full moon that shone over their town. It was such a beautiful night. The next morning on the way home, Tramp and Lady passed a chicken coop. Ever chased chickens? Tramp asked. He couldn't resist. Lady did not like this idea, but she followed him anyway. The chickens ran around the yard, squawking and squealing. Hey, what's going on out there? The farmer called. Lady and Tramp ran away fast as they could. The Tramp soon discovered that Lady wasn't behind him. She had run into a dog catcher and was taken to the dog pound. Lady was rescued. No, Lady was scared to be at the dog pound. But soon the dog catcher came for her. Reading her collar, he knew where to take her. You're too nice of a girl to be in this place, he said. He returned Lady to Aunt Sarah. At home, Aunt Sarah chained Lady to the doghouse. Lady was so sad, even Jock and Trusty could not cheer her up. Then Tramp arrived. Lady was angry with him. She thought Tramp had only looked out for himself and had let her get caught by the dog catcher. He tried to explain, I thought you were right behind me, honestly, he said. Goodbye, and take this with you, Lady said, returning the bone Tramp had bought for her. That night, Lady saw a rat creeping into the baby's room, but she couldn't chase it because of the damn chain. Because of the chain, she could only bark. Stop! that?" Aunt Sarah called. "Hush!" Tramp heard the rush and went back to Lady. "What is it?" Tramp asked. "A rat is in the baby's room," Lady replied. Tramp ran into the house and found the rat. He had to catch that rat before it hurt the baby. Meanwhile, Lady was barking with all her might and pulling on this heavy chain. At last, the chain broke free from the doghouse. Lady ran inside to help Tramp. Tramp chased the rat under the baby's bassinet and accidentally knocked it over. The baby started to cry, but Lady was happy because the baby was safe. Tramp had finally caught the rat. Aunt Sarah was not happy. The baby's crying woke her. She found Lady and Tramp in his room. She thought they were hurting the baby. She called the dog catcher to comfort Tramp. The dog catcher soon arrived. Just then, Jim, Dear, and Darling came home. Lady tried to explain what had happened. She lifted the curtain to show that Tramp had caught the rat and saved the baby. Jock and Trusty had a plan to stop the dog catcher's wagon. They barked loudly, scaring the horses, and the wagon crashed. The Tramp was safe. Jim, Dear, and Lady soon arrived to bring him home. The next Christmas Eve, Jock and Trusty came by to see Lady Tramp and their 4 new puppies. "They got their mother's eyes," said Trusty. "They're a bit..."
There's 3 girls and 1 boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's weird.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. "There's a bit of their father in them too," said Jock. You painted their collar?
Yeah. So their collar's pretty.
Yeah, it is. Everyone was happy that Tramp had become part of the family.
Why? Why is him pulling the baby's stuff?
The end.
Mean. That's mean.
Yeah, it's a puppy and a baby. That's the end.
Now you have to do this one.
Do what?
That's not the end.
This is the end.
No,
No, it's the end of Lady and the Tramp.
No, it's
Alright.
it's not yet.
My one girl is my fun girl. My one girl is my fun girl. My one girl is my fun girl. I want, I want. I want, I want. I want, I want. I want. My fun girl. My day one girl. The light. All I want to do is not even pray for him. You need to stay away from the champagne bottles because that's the only option I got. No prayers. I still wonder why I got married. Stupid. You make me want to beat your ass like a piñata. You make me want to beat your ass like a runaway slave. You make me want to put you and your mama and your wife in their place. Slap you so hard you lose taste. Beat you like my child. But how I see why kids call the cops nowadays. Raised by abused and used custody case. You make me want to be you like a piñata. Why the fuck I was late? Why niggas trespass simply by jumping the gate? I wanna beat your ass like a piñata. I wanna beat your ass like I was your mama. I wanna beat your ass like I was your great grandma. I imagine beating your ass with a switch pretty often. I really pray for you to stay away from them bottles. I want to bust your ass open like a piñata. I want to beat your ass like I'm potty training a dog. And I want to beat your ass like I'm chopping a log. And I want to beat your ass like a piñata. Beat your ass so bad you can't even beg for me to stop, nigga. Stop, nigga. I ain't gonna stop. Beat your ass. Keep singing, keep singing, keep singing. I wonder if that was her version of seeing something that I couldn't see. Because if I didn't quote unquote keep singing, you would never have found me. Sometimes I'm ahead of my time. Sometimes I bring him along for the ride. I had to replace my car battery. My amethyst fell and I lost my egg. AC fuse blew twice. I'm public domain. Can you lay my foundation? You can afford it. No distractions. For limited time. Set a timer. Practice. I'm going. Just sit here and listen to you. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. Some revelations in here. Things are happening. I need to stock up on my survival tools. We played telephone, open liner, the black dog, closing lines, the sad cat, and the black cat, and I don't know what else. And that's my adaptation. Adapt.
Have you ever wanted an easy way to remember the 10 Commandments of Christianity? Hey, it's Dan Zimmerman. Welcome back to Illustrate to Educate. In this video, I'm going to share with you a simple, fun, and effective way to remember all 10 commandments in the correct order. To keep the order correct, we will be using something called a PEG memory system, which is ideal for remembering information like the 10 Commandments that must be recalled in a particular order. Like all memory systems, the PEG system improves your memory by creating a filing cabinet in your mind. A PEG is just a mental hook on which you hang the information. This hook acts as a reminder to help you mentally retrieve information. A common PEG system is 1 sun, 2 shoe, 3 tree, 4 door, 5 hive, 6 sticks, 7 heaven, 8 gate, 9 line, and 10 pen. If you can remember those pegs, then you're ready to associate those with each of the 10 commandments. Let's look at that next. The first commandment is, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me." So using the peg 1 sun, think about how there is only one sun in the sky and no others, just like how there should be no other gods before God, or putting something else before God in your life. The second commandment is, "Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image." For this we will want to associate 2 shoe by thinking of really nice shoes, that some might even want to worship them. But according to the commandment, anything you worship more than God is a graven image, and will eventually go away, but God will never go away like those shoes will. The third commandment is, "Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain." Using 3 tree by thinking about roots like veins in a tree or veins in a leaf, and making the connection to the word vein. Vein and vein are homophones, or words that are spelled differently but sound the same. The use of the word vein in this commandment means using God's name like a swear word, or it can mean saying you are a Christian but not living or acting like Jesus would want you to act. The fourth commandment is, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." Now using 4 door, you can think about the doors to the chapel, and that Christians go to church, worship God, and learn how to be better people on the Sabbath day. The fifth commandment is, "Honor thy father and thy mother." With 5 hive, we can think about the queen bee in the hive and how she is the mother of the nest. Make that connection with how it's important to respect our parents or those who care for you. The sixth commandment is, "Thou shalt not kill." Thinking of 6 sticks, you can make the connection that someone could use a stick to commit a murder, which is fairly straightforward. The seventh commandment is thou shalt not commit adultery, connecting this with how your home should be like heaven, and that if adultery is being committed amongst spouses, then the promises that are being broken are creating sadness and not allowing for home to be like heaven. The eighth commandment is thou shalt not steal. With 8 gate, you can imagine someone breaking into a gate, stealing whatever's behind the gate. Fairly easy connection to remember and a very straightforward commandment. The ninth commandment is thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Using 9 line, imagine the old telephone lines and how people could get on those phones and tell lies and gossip about each other. If you lie to someone, then you are bearing false witness, which could cause harm to yourself or others. The last and 10th commandment is thou shalt not covet. With 10 pen, you can imagine a nice colorful pen that you might really want to have. To covet means to be so jealous of something someone else has that you become desperate and distant from God. So there you have it. There's the 10 commandments. All you have to remember is 1 sun, 2 shoe, 3 tree, 4 door, 5 hive, 6 sticks, 7 heaven, 8 gate, 9 line, 10 pen, and you'll have all the 10 commandments memorized in order. Did you enjoy this video about memorizing the 10 commandments? If so, please like and subscribe to Illustrate to Educate to enjoy more simple and objective videos on topics that matter, and be sure to check out more simple and objective videos to the right.